The excavation site on Kepler 442 hummed with the low-frequency vibration of mining drones. Kevin adjusted his environmental suit's collar, watching the holographic display flicker with mineral composition data. 3 months into the survey mission, and they'd found nothing but iron-rich regolith and fossilized microbes. The corporation would be disappointed, but Kevin felt relieved. Every barren world meant one less ecosystem disrupted by human expansion. "Kevin, you need to see this." Jennifer's voice crackled through his helmet comm, tension evident despite the digital compression. He found her at the edge of Pit 7, a massive excavation that dropped 40 meters into the planet's crust. The xenobiologist was staring at her handheld scanner, her face pale behind the transparent visor. "Biosignatures," she said, not looking up. "Complex ones, and they're moving." Kevin's pulse quickened. In 5 years of extraterrestrial surveying, he'd never encountered anything more sophisticated than bacterial mats. He peered into the pit, where the afternoon light of the K-type star cast long shadows across stratified rock layers. That's when he heard it, a sound that bypassed his helmet's external microphones and resonated directly in his skull. Not quite a cry, not quite a song. His neural implant, standard issue for all surveyors, flickered with static. "Did you?" Jennifer started, but Kevin was already moving. At the bottom of the pit, partially buried in collapsed sediment, something small and luminescent writhed. Even from this distance, Kevin could make out the basic form: quadrupedal, feline in proportion, with bioluminescent patterns racing across its fur in distress signals. "It's trapped," Kevin said, already calculating descent vectors. "Probably from a cave system we collapsed during excavation." "Wait for the retrieval drone," Jennifer warned, but her voice lacked conviction. They both knew the creature's biosignatures were fatting on her scanner. Kevin didn't respond. He activated his suit's emergency repel system, magnetic anchors shooting into the pit's edge. The descent took 43 seconds. He counted each one, watching the creature's light patterns grow dimmer. The being was smaller than he'd estimated, no larger than a human infant. Its first shifted through the visible spectrum and into wavelengths his suit's sensors translated as enhanced overlays on his visor. The creature's eyes, multiple and compound like a spider's, fixed on him with unmistakable intelligence. When Kevin reached for it, the creature didn't flee. Instead, it pressed its head against his gloved hand, and his neural implant exploded with sensation. Not pain exactly. More like his consciousness had suddenly expanded to accommodate another presence. He could feel the creature's fear, its gratitude, and beneath that, something ancient and vast, a network of minds stretching back through geological time. The sediment shifted. Kevin's training kicked in, and he grabbed the creature, tucking it against his chest as he triggered the rappel's ascent. The pit wall crumbled, rock face shearing away in massive plates. He didn't feel the impact. One moment he was rising, Jennifer's shouts filling his helmet, and the next, there was only darkness shot through with those shifting, bioluminescent patterns. Kevin woke to sterile light and the antiseptic smell of the medical bay. His neural implant felt different, fuller, like a tooth that had been hollow and was now solid. Dr. Amati, the mission's physician, stood over him with an expression caught between fascination and alarm. "You've been unconscious for 16 hours, she said. "Your neural activity was unprecedented. We almost initiated emergency cryo." The creature, Kevin tried to sit up, but his body felt wrong, heavy and light simultaneously. "Alive, Jennifer has it in the xenobiology lab." Dr. Amati pulled up a holographic display. "But we need to discuss your condition." The scan showed his neural implant, but it had changed. New pathways branched from the standard architecture, organic rather than synthetic, glowing with faint bioluminescence in the imaging spectrum. "What is that?" Kevin whispered. "We were hoping you could tell us." Jennifer entered the bay, still in her lab coat, dark circles under her eyes. The creature, we're calling it a Felid luminaris for now, has similar structures in its nervous system. When you touched it, there was some kind of exchange. Kevin closed his eyes and immediately regretted it. Behind his eyelids, he could see patterns. Not images exactly, but mathematical structures describing space-time curvatures, quantum probability fields, and something his brain insisted on interpreting as territorial markers spread across the galaxy. It marked you, Jennifer continued, like a cat marking territory, but on a quantum level. Your neural implant has been permanently altered to interface with what we think is a galaxy-spanning network of Felid luminaris consciousness. That's impossible, Kevin said, even as he felt the truth of it humming through his rewired neurons. 3 hours ago, your implant transmitted a burst of data, Dr. Amati said quietly. Coordinates, thousands of them, scattered across the Orion arm. Every single one corresponds to a planet we've surveyed and found barren. Understanding crashed over Kevin like cold water. The fossilized microbes, the empty worlds, the consistent absence of complex life in systems that should have supported it. They're hiding, he said. The Felid species. They've evolved the ability to make themselves invisible to standard surveys, to exist in dimensions our instruments can't detect. Jennifer nodded. The child you saved wasn't just any member of their species. Based on the complexity of the neural structures it shared with you, we think it's something like royalty, a keeper of generational memory. Kevin's hand moved to his temple, where he could feel the new pathways pulsing with bioluminescent energy that his human eyes couldn't see but his altered neurons could sense. The mark, burning not with heat but with information, with connection to millions of feline minds across the stars. They've been watching us, he realized, evaluating whether humanity is ready for contact. And now you're their liaison, Dr. Amati said, the first human marked as, what? A friend, an ally, we don't even have the language for it. A soft chirp drew their attention. The Felid child, Kevin understood now that child was grossly inadequate, that the creature contained memories spanning millennia, padded into the medical bay. Jennifer must have brought it. Its first shifted through colors that Kevin's enhanced perception now recognized as language. Gratitude on her teaching, the pattern said, and Kevin understood them as clearly as spoken words. He reached out his hand, and the creature pressed against it again. This time, there was no shock, no sudden rewiring, just a sense of rightness, of a bridge built between two species that had been circling each other unknowingly for generations. What do they want? Jennifer asked, watching the exchange with barely controlled excitement. Kevin listened to the thoughts flowing through the mark, through the network that now stretched from his neural implant to the stars themselves. They want to teach us, he said slowly, how to exist without consuming, how to spread across the galaxy without destroying it, how to become invisible to predators while remaining present for partners. He looked up at Jennifer and Dr. Amati, seeing them now with human eyes and something more, a perception that encompassed probability and possibility, past and future simultaneously. They've been waiting for someone to jump into the pit, Kevin continued, to save rather than study, to risk rather than exploit. I'm not the first human they've tested, but I'm the first one who passed. The mark on his neural pathways pulsed, igniting with information that would take lifetimes to fully comprehend. Kevin smiled, feeling the weight and wonder of his new role. And now, he said, as the Felid child's purr resonated through dimensions his species was only beginning to understand, the real education begins.